Hatshepsut was a remarkable woman who defied tradition to become one of ancient Egypt's most formidable pharaohs. She was not born to be king. Astute political maneuvering, divine declaration, sheer force of will, she claimed the ultimate power in the land of the Nile. Her story unfolds around 3,500 years ago, during the vibrant and powerful 18th dynasty of the New Kingdom. Immense wealth, artistic innovation, imperial expansion, a world dominated by strong male rulers. Yet, into this patriarchal stage, stepped a woman who would not only rule, but would redefine what it meant to be a pharaoh, leaving an indelible mark on Egyptian history and identity. Her lineage was impeccable, a crucial factor in the complex world of royal succession. Hatshepsut was the daughter of King Thutmose III. This pure royal bloodline gave her a significant advantage and a powerful claim to influence within the court. She was married to her own half-brother, Thutmose II, a common practice to keep the divine bloodline concentrated. As his great royal wife, she held the most prestigious female position in the kingdom. Her role was not merely ceremonial, she was a key figure in religious rituals and a powerful presence at court. A training ground invaluable for the path she would forge. The stage for her ascension was set by tragedy and opportunity. Thutmose II's reign was relatively short. He left behind a very young son, Thutmose III, born to a lesser wife. According to tradition, this young boy was the rightful heir. Hatshepsut, as the Dowager Queen, the boy's aunt and stepmother, was appointed regent. Her duty was to guide the affairs of state and rule on behalf of the child king until he came of age. For a time, she fulfilled this role perfectly, managing the administration of Egypt with a capable hand and ensuring the stability of the kingdom during a potentially vulnerable transition. However, simply ruling in the name of another was not enough for Hatshepsut. Within a few years of her regency, she made a revolutionary move. To legitimize this claim, she asserted that Amun-Ra had declared her his daughter and rightful king. This divine oracle was a masterstroke of political propaganda, transforming her from a temporary placeholder into a divinely sanctioned monarch. She adopted the full five-fold titulary of a king, effectively becoming King Hatshepsut. The transition from Queen Regent to King was not merely a change of title. It was a carefully constructed transformation of public identity. Hatshepsut understood that to be accepted as a legitimate pharaoh, she needed to be seen as one. This meant embracing the powerful iconography of kingship that had been established for millennia. In official art, statues, reliefs, she began to be depicted with all the traditional male attributes of a ruler. Her image was sculpted with broad shoulders, a muscular torso, the ceremonial kilt worn by kings. Most significantly, her portraits included the false beard, a symbol of pharaonic power. It was strapped to the chin of every male ruler, signifying divine status and authority over the land. This visual strategy was not about denying her femininity, but about conforming to the established visual language of power. The role of pharaoh was inherently masculine in the Egyptian worldview, and by adopting its visual trappings, Hatshepsut communicated she possessed the requisite qualities for the job. Unlike many of her New Kingdom predecessors and successors, Hatshepsut's reign was not defined by military conquest. Instead, she ushered in a prolonged period of peace and extraordinary prosperity for Egypt. By focusing her attention inward, she was able to redirect the nation's vast resources towards ambitious building programs and the re-establishment of lucrative trade networks. This era of stability allowed Egyptian art, architecture, culture. Her reign is often seen as a golden age, a time when Egypt's wealth was used not to wage foreign wars, but to enrich the land, honor the gods, and create some of the most beautiful monuments the world has ever seen. One crowning achievement was the legendary trading expedition to the land of Punt. The precise location of Punt is still debated, likely along the Red Sea coast, perhaps in modern-day Eritrea or Somalia. It was a mythical source of exotic and precious goods. Hatshepsut dispatched a large fleet of ships on this ambitious journey, a venture that required immense planning, resources, and courage. The expedition was a resounding success, immortalized in vibrant reliefs on the walls of her temple at Deir el-Bahri. The reliefs tell a vivid story: the ships arriving, beehive-shaped houses on stilts, lush palm trees, peaceful trade between Egyptians and the people of Punt, and the triumphant return. The ships came back laden not just with incense, ebony, and gold, but most remarkably, with 31 live myrrh trees, their root balls carefully wrapped in baskets. The first known successful transports of foreign flora, planted in the gardens of her temple as a living testament. Beyond Punt, Hatshepsut was a prolific builder across Egypt. She commissioned hundreds of projects, restoring temples that had fallen into disrepair and erecting magnificent new monuments. At Karnak, she raised 2 colossal red granite obelisks, the tallest in the world at the time. These needles were capped with electrum, gold and silver, gleaming in the Egyptian sun, symbols of her devotion to Amun-Ra and her divine authority. Hatshepsut's reign lasted for over 2 decades. It was a period of remarkable stability and artistic brilliance. During this time, her co-ruler and stepson, Thutmose III, was not idle. He was raised at court, given a military education, eventually leading Egypt's armies on campaigns, while Hatshepsut managed the state. When she died of natural causes, likely around 1458 BCE, Thutmose III finally ascended as sole ruler of Egypt. He would become one of Egypt's greatest military pharaohs, often called the Napoleon of Egypt, dramatically expanding the empire to its furthest extent. His successful reign rested on the stable foundation Hatshepsut had built. However, toward the end of his long reign, something curious happened. A systematic campaign began to erase Hatshepsut from the historical record. Her name was chiseled out of cartouches. Her images were recarved or destroyed. Her statues were smashed and buried in a pit near her temple. The motivation for this proscription is still debated. It may have been a political move by Thutmose III to secure succession for his son, or perhaps a conservative, ideological decision to restore male-only kingship. Mutt. Despite the effort, her legacy proved too monumental to be completely destroyed. Her magnificent temple at Deir el-Bahri, though damaged, largely survived. The smashed statues buried by her temple were rediscovered by archaeologists in the 20th century, allowing her face and form to be pieced back together. Inscriptions telling of her divine birth endured. Inscriptions of her expedition to Punt endured.